Different nuances when it comes to buying a business versus the building itself. What would you
Yeah.
say would be some of the biggest differences?
Yeah, and I love that question, Kevin, because that's actually why we started the 52 Weeks to Wealth. The 52 Weeks to Wealth was not built for real estate investors. It got modified. It got watered down for real estate investors. Hands to the camera if that's an interesting thing to think about. It was originally built for business owners. It was originally built to grow income. That was the play. We've shifted it over. We started talking a lot more about net worth because that's what our community wanted. Hands to the camera if it's okay to adjust to your community. Do what your people want, to serve in the way that they want to be served. Absolutely. Like, we're real estate investors, how we built a lot of our wealth, but our cash flow has always come from our businesses. And that's where, that's why we built the 52 Weeks to Wealth was, hey, you need a cash flow system to buy real estate. When you have a boatload of cash coming in, it's really easy to buy a boatload of real estate. Hands can't catch this. So Kevin's question was, what is the big difference between real estate and business? How you evaluate the deal. That's the only difference. Like what you look at the metrics. It's like looking at a multifamily versus a single family. There's a lot of things different about those two asset classes. Business is the same way. It's just how we evaluate a business versus how we evaluate a commercial property versus a assisted living home or a new development or a piece of land. Like, each one of these is just a different business model within real estate. Outside of real estate, each business has its own set of models. There's marketing agencies, there's sales companies, there's products, there's services, there's information products. There's a lot of different businesses out there, but the structure of how business runs, all the same, which is why the 52 Weeks to Wealth works for it. The evaluating per deal, that's where the specialized knowledge comes in. That's where the have 3 coaches, 2 mentors, 1 mastermind kind of philosophy starts working, is when you're looking for that specialized knowledge to go deep and make sure things are done properly. Hence, can't forgetting this. Kevin, yeah, we've been buying businesses this year. We've been buying businesses. We've been partnering, we're building. All of the millionaires all the multimillionaires in the room have acquired businesses. They've either built them or they've acquired or they've partnered with them. And that's how we get to that next level, is through business acquisitions, whether we're building, partnering, or building strategic relationships. So yeah, one more round of applause for Kevin. That's phenomenal awareness. And that is part of getting to that next level. Awesome. What else? What other challenges, questions? I see Ken Walls on the call. I see Dr. Terry Wager. You guys, in a minute or less, because some of you are a little long-winded. Ken Walls, just go ahead, brother. Ken is a digital marketer, so this is like the worst one to bring him on. Contagious marketing. Ken, if you can, in 30 minute or less, share your take on this. And by the way, for everybody who doesn't know, Ken will be a speaker at the 100 Millionaire Summit. He is a friend of Grant Cardone's, friend of Mark Victor Hansen, friend of now Vinny Chopra, Rami El Vitroli. He connected me with who's the guy who wrote the book Blue Fishing? Steve Sims. Bob Berg. If it wasn't for Ken, I wouldn't have had all these relationships. So let's give Ken Walls a round of applause. Great conversation.
I'm just listening and putting movie quotes in the chat. I'm just hanging out, man. I have nothing to say, honestly.
Let's give Ken Walls a round of applause. He's amazing. If you want to see him live, you're going to have to go to the 100 Millionaire Summit. Get your tickets now because they are filling up quick. And also, we're going to have all the VIPs. We're going to have lunch with Ken Walls. We're going to have some time to pick his brain, ask him some questions. Hands to Ken, if you know, that's extremely valuable. You know how the secret, how I got him there? Ken always says yes to free food. He's like, yeah, as long as it's vegan, because Mike Shine won't let him eat meat.
Well, yeah, that's been a huge game changer for me. I mean, huge. If you're not vegan, talk to Mike. It's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Let's give Ken Walls one more round of applause. Dr. Terry Wager. Contagious marketing and getting the money.
I like this idea with contagious marketing because the reality is that we human beings are impressionable people. And one of the things that's going to happen to us is we're going to gravitate towards something. We all do. It's in our DNA to move towards something. And so if you're visible, if you're able to put a message together that is attractive, you're going to attract people. The problem is that our heads are very, very attraction oriented too. And in our head is our protection. And so a lot of times we get attracted to all of the negativity in the world, all of the noise in the world. And so that's one of the biggest reasons that Jonah Berger's book is so important, is to really really get a hold of how you're coming across, because a lot of times we're not even aware of our own negativity. We're not aware of how we're actually turning people off or scaring them or using fear. And the reality is fear really attracts people. It's one of the biggest things in personal development that people do to get you to buy from them. And the reality is sometimes we need to actually point to those things that we are afraid of and say, hey, do you want this to happen to you? No? Well, then take this action. And so we want to really think about how we are being contagious. We want to think about being intentional with our contagion, so to speak. We want to think about how we move forward or move the people forward in our lives that we're trying to help. How are we being negative and moving them towards something that doesn't work for them? Or are we being contagious in a way that actually helps them move forward? And that's what I really get out of the book Contagious, is how do I want to affect people? How do I want to infect people? Because contagion, it's infectious.
Let's give Dr. Tara Wager a round of applause. That's a cool mic drop. I love it because we think about it all the time. Ron and I for years have run a media company, a marketing company, behind the scenes, or I guess it's in front of the scenes of everybody, but that's been our driving main focus. And what message we put out has always been a major concern, because we know it's so easy just to put out a fear tactic message. Like if you put out a message about, hey, have you been broke? Do you hate not having money? Like people are just like, yep, that's me. Like they tune in immediately. If you put a picture of somebody losing their house, like sad, emotion, like they're addicted to pain. Like they can't help it. It's the reticular activator is always looking for issues and challenges. But for us as a company, we've made the decision to always put out a positive message from the first second to the end. And that is a difficult strategy to implement, because you have to think a little harder, right? You don't just stop at the easiest thing to market. And scam if you catch this. But it's worth it. It's worth it because what you create is people who are instantly attracted to an already existing mindset, instantly attracted, seeking out this type of conversation immediately. If they see the message of the pain, they're like, oh my God, another one. So it's about like really being okay with, maybe you're working with fewer people, but they're higher quality, and just driving in that direction of quality over quantity. Now, on our mission to build millionaires, obviously, we have to bring in a certain amount of quality, volume, before we can get to the purification process. 80-20, 80% will take 3 to 5 years. 20% may crush it in a year. Hence, scam if that's just numbers, right? It's like, whatever. If we want to hit those numbers, we got to go big. That's why we're putting 1,000 people at the summit.